We're here to help each other, not hurt each other. And it's a shame that us, I'm talking to my black and brown communities, will sit here and fight.
We don't want you here. You or your administration. Y'all need to go.
Mayor, you might as well step down too. Because I'm tired of that too. This is a disgrace that you have done to this village.
Y'all, Tiffany Henyard is making her rounds around our timelines again, and it really isn't looking good right now for her. She's been spending the town's resources like it's her personal piggy bank, and she is delusional enough to claim that people are only attacking her because she's a black woman in power. I mean, have you seen what happens when a Dolton meeting takes place? Baby, it is pure chaos out here. Child, call the police. Henyard is still going around town calling herself the super mayor and is so confident that she'll win a second term as Dolton's mayor. But the people want her out and are removing her from her seat even before the next election takes place. And Tiffany is still saying that all of this is nothing more than her ops trying to ruin her. And the delulu is real.
Y'all forget I am the leader. They want to hear from the mayor. If y'all ain't learned that yet. The mayor, not the trustees that don't do nothing, that only run their mouth. Y'all don't do no work.
For such a small town, Dolton has a lot of issues, and every single trail, every single dirty finger is pointing right back to Tiffany Henyard. Just a few days ago, the Dolton trustees learned that the life insurance policy for more than 150 employees working in the village ended since August of 2024 because someone hadn't been paying the premiums. When the trustees were trying to figure out how the village's life insurance could be terminated without anyone hearing about it, the insurance consultant for the village told them that the company did send a message to the village's administration, aka Tiffany Henyard, and they didn't hear a word or receive a penny since they told her about it. And of course, when it was time for the trustees to confront her about it, Tiffany was nowhere in sight. For someone who likes to show off her style and wigs at every board meeting she's at, it was surprising that Tiffany wasn't there at all, and she said she ain't attending any more meetings unless there's extra security there to protect her. Or maybe it's because she knows that her time as mayor is truly over. I mean, unless she goes over to Columbia and completely reinvents herself, her time in any political office over here is truly over. And I am seated front and center waiting to see this drama unfold until the very end, because the way she's running through Dolton's resources in the time that she's been in office is scary, y'all. In January, Lori Lightfoot finally revealed all of her findings when she looked into Tiffany's spending habits. Lori wasn't even given subpoena power or any sort of extra jurisdiction that would help her really dig into what the super mayor had going on. So the fact that Lori Lightfoot, of all people, found a paper trail that was as extensive as this really shows y'all just how careless and nonchalant Tiffany was. I mean, Miss Girl was really living out her best city girl dreams on Dolton's dime. There were several credit card expenditures ranging up to $779,000 that were never approved and with no receipts to show just how the money was spent. On top of that, Tiffany and her gang of misfits and thieves had spent over $170,000 traveling to Las Vegas and attending other events like the Economic Development Convention held at the International Council of Shopping Centers. The traveling around would make sense if Tiffany had actually brought back some employment opportunities for the village, but no one in the village got ish. Lightfoot also found that more than $51,000 was spent at area restaurants, and Tiffany raked up over $218,000 buying stuff on Amazon alone. Who in their right mind spends that much money on Amazon? Girl, what you get? One of the largest single purchases Tiffany ever made was spending $50,000 to get supplies for the village's skating rink. And guess what? Nobody knows where those supplies are. She also threw an $85,000 party and brought artists like Jay Holiday and Kiki Wyatt to perform. Additionally, Tiffany spent $374,000 on 3 SUVs for herself and another $1 million on overtime for the police detail she always walks around with.
I think it was the level of systematic, intentional effort to shield from the village trustees and the public what the true financial state of the village was. I mean, we see in Mayor Henyard and her key people in her administration just this reckless disregard for governmental norms, spending on whatever she wanted without seeking any kind of budgetary approval, without looking to see whether or not the spending aligned with the budget, just doing whatever she wanted as if she was all powerful and had no accountability to anyone.
Appropriations are misappropriations.
We showed what we found to veteran municipal lawyer Bert Odelson, who represents Dolton trustees opposed to Henyard.
Every time I say I can't believe that she would do something, here comes another.
What we found are credit card records showing expenditures for the Washington trip, including $5,000 to the U.S. Conference of Mayors, plane tickets for herself and assistant Keith Freeman for $718 apiece, hotel rooms at the Washington Hilton for over $1,000 each, and a $629 rental car. Total cost to taxpayers, $9,167.
Dolton went from having $5.6 million in the bank in 2022 to owing $3.6 million, and Tiffany has no clue where the money went. Girl.
At the end of the day, vendors are not being paid. Board approved it. The vendors are not being paid.
How about you be a good leader, bring RFPs to the forefront, so not just us, but the residents and everybody else in America know how the money is being spent.
Dolton villagers have been much more harsh to Tiffany than they've been to any other mayor that's run the town. And when the reports came out, they went crazy. They called out Tiffany and demanded that she explain where all their money went. But Tiffany said she didn't owe an apology for anything, and everything she did for the people and will continue to do when she wins another term as mayor. Who? Girl, you think them people want you back? They're trying to get rid of you now.
On my seat by 82%. Know this, I am gonna come through on a landslide just like Trump did. Know that I will be victorious in the upcoming election.
What she said was so unbelievable that people in the crowd started calling her names, and someone stood up to speak and straight up called Tiffany a B word to her face. And when I tell you that Tiffany lost her mind, baby, she went crazy.
You gone.
This happened right after a community activist called Tiffany Henyard an expletive, a fight erupting in the back of the room. Fists, kicks, people jumping on top of tables, monitors smashed, with Henyard and her boyfriend in the middle of the melee.
Everything, it was scary, it was horrible. That's an embarrassment.
It should have never come to blows, and Tiffany should have never got involved.
Her boyfriend, Kamal Wood, started thumping on any and everyone, especially the man who insulted her. And instead of Tiffany trying to calm the situation down, she jumped right in. Her wig went flying, her shoes were gone, she was barefoot and throwing hands like she was on the Baddies Club or something. Her clothes and makeup were a mess, she was stumbling and tumbling, and when someone finally stepped in, she was still jumping and gunning for a fight. The mayor, y'all, acted like this. It's one thing for her boyfriend to act like a thug, but for Tiffany to jump in with fists is just so ghetto. I mean, after all, you're still a mayor. She always terrorized and treated the people of Dolton like they were dirty and under her shoe. But even for her, this was taking it way too far, and tempers were running high. For the first time in 30 years, the Democrats in Thornton Township held a caucus and kicked Tiffany off the ballot for Thornton Township supervisor, which means that unless her voters take time to write her name in on the ballot, when they vote, she will not be elected as the town's supervisor. And as for Dolton, these people are frustrated and tired that they are planning to kick her out as mayor before her term comes to an end.
We're having a call of action right now. Our call of action is we are demanding the leaders that be, the people who we elected to step up and step in.
In a call to action letter, the village's Board of Trustees called Tuesday night's fight disgraceful.
We cannot let her get back and to be a mayor, and we already know she's not gonna win that supervisor seat. That is done.
And with the way things are going on, ain't no way she'd be elected again as mayor when the election comes in April. Tiffany Henyard is proof that at any level, no matter how small or insignificant, you can be a thieving, conniving, unworthy person of power. I hope she feels the full weight of her stupidity. Politics is tough, but when your wig and dignity leaves the room before you do, that's a whole new level of loss. That Tiffany Henyard brawl needed to happen. Maybe she will finally get some consequences. But what do you guys think about this? Make sure you like this video and subscribe, because we're definitely gonna be covering Mayor Tiffany again, because she ain't up to no good. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye, baddies.